Hi, I am Morgan Vaughn. This is Facts at 5 for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2020. And I am here once again with Christine Sampson from the East Hampton Star, an ace reporter, and I'm so glad she's here.
Thank you, Morgan.
So the first thing I kind of wanted to hit on tonight was technology, because everybody all of a sudden is doing everything online.
Google Classrooms, distance learning, everything.
Everything. Everybody's working from home. Everybody's Zooming everywhere. All the kids are, distance learning, as you said. We're doing remote town boards, et cetera. And what we are discovering and what people are talking about a lot is that the infrastructure in terms of the internet capability, in terms of the bandwidth, is getting less and less and less and less.
It's totally overtaxed.
It is overcapped. So even YouTube is now broadcasting in standard definition.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
which is what we were doing in 2004. I mean, LTV is in standard definition, but that's because of a myriad things. But all of your other stations are in HD. But because of the amount of bandwidth that's needed, YouTube has reduced their videos. Netflix apparently has done that, maybe in Europe, but not here yet. I'm not quite sure. And we're noticing it here. So we're trying to do board meetings. Last night, LTV did a remote board meeting with the planning board, and it did not work out very well. People were dropping out. There was sound issues. It didn't really go that well at all. We were very disappointed. However, today, the village board meeting went fantastic. So if that maybe has to do with the fact that during the day there's a little bit fewer people using the internet around here than it is at night, I'm not really sure. Tonight, we are going to do live the town board special meeting at 6:30 on LTV, and fingers crossed, it's gonna go fantastic. But I do want people to know that it's live. I do want people to know how much work is involved in doing that. And I think everybody's getting a glimpse of this as they try to set up meetings from home and realize how difficult it is to get everybody's sound right and to get everybody in the same room at the same time. And, anyway, I just want to alert people about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is about how indebted we are to local journalists. We here, Chrissy is from the East Hampton Star. We are so indebted to her for her great, incredible, in-depth knowledge about what's going on locally. Knowledge, quite frankly, that I don't have. But in terms of our friends and our neighbors who are working for these papers, Chrissy, can you speak to what's happening?
Sure. So newspapers are really struggling right now, and the time has come. It's really never been more important to subscribe. Subscribe to your local paper, maybe more than one, a local paper, a national paper, that sort of thing. Because the news is not, how do you think the news appears in your social media feeds? Somebody has to write it. Somebody has to fact check it. Somebody has to copy and proofread it. So news isn't free. And the best way for you to support that is to subscribe. If you have a business, try to maintain some level of an advertising contract. Some of the local papers have crowdfunding campaigns going on as well. But basically, we're all in this together to some degree, and we would really appreciate it if the folks out there would subscribe. And you can subscribe to not just the East Hampton Star, but you can subscribe to the Express News Group, which is East Hampton Press, Southampton Press, the Sag Harbor Express, and their website, 27east.com. You can subscribe to and pick up the Independent, Dan's papers, and on the North Fork, there's the Suffolk Times and the Riverhead News Review. And we are all working real hard to get this news, and it filters down to Facts at 5 here.
It really does. And I think the important word in what you just said is facts. Anybody can write something and have it go out on the interwebs, but not everybody can have it be condensed, be fact-checked. Make sure that everything is correct, and then have it go out on wherever it's going to go. And to me, that's the most important thing. Because as we're seeing now, there's all sorts of rumors going hither and yon. I love Joe Shaw's piece about the Mythbusters. I think that's fantastic and so needed. Okay, so what's happening in East Hampton today?
So in East Hampton, actually out in Montauk, unfortunately, we have a community member, a longtime community member, the well-known artist Peter Beard, is still missing. As of this morning, he sort of wandered away from his home. He's in his 80s. And he, the information is on the LTV crawl, is it?
I put an update for Montauk viewers, but he's been missing since Tuesday night, I
Yes.
think. And there's a description of what he looks like. And it was around Old Montauk Highway, just, I think, east of Deep Hollow, I think.
And so, some of the local papers, this is in the East Hampton Star as of this morning, the search is still ongoing.
Okay.
So we hope to hear good news soon.
Yep. And he does have dementia, and he is at risk. So and everybody needs to keep an eye out. Okay, what is going on? So we just got the updated report from Suffolk County. You and I did. We always wait till around 2:30 to get it. And today was a little bit strange because it didn't have the towns so far. But we do have some updated stats.
So we are up 160 patients in the hospital in Suffolk County. That is 1,057 hospitalizations.
Wow.
Over the last week or so, Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone said there are something like 2,800 to 2,900 hospital beds throughout the county.
Wow.
Which itself is an increase of about 500 from what we started with.
Okay.
That effort is going to continue to be ramped up as per Governor Cuomo's mandates. However, the Southampton Hospital, they're still also serving their regular emergency room
Right.
and emergent issues, as we know. If you have, a diabetic issue or something like that,
Right.
you can still seek treatment. They're not just stopping everything else. I mean, elective surgeries have been canceled. But if you need help, you can still get it.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
Call, and we've been talking about that, and the Ambulance Association have been talking about that, about if it's a true medical emergency, if you're having a heart attack, if you're having a stroke, if you're having some kind of episode that isn't COVID related, you need to call. However, if you have a high fever or or coughing, then you should call the COVID lines and start your search there.
Right. A few more numbers we have out of Suffolk County is that there have been an increase of 15 fatalities from yesterday to today. 84 now, unfortunately, and they've almost all of them, the people who have sadly passed away have had underlying medical conditions, which underscores how vulnerable people are if they're, maybe a senior citizen who have treatment for something else.
Right.
So it's really...
Which almost anybody that I know, myself included, once you reach a certain age, you have an underlying condition.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at this because I was curious about it, and it says compromised immune system, HIV, current or recent pregnancy, endocrine disorders, especially diabetes, I've heard is a big problem. Obviously asthma, which is what I have, blood disorders, chronic kidney disease, metabolic disorders, heart disease, lung disease, neurological. I mean, there's a lot of diseases, but there's a lot of things that people who are walking around have, and the reason that we're walking around is because we have such great medicine to keep us walking around. And so you can look at somebody and think that they're perfectly fine and they don't have any kind of problem, but you have no idea in some cases.
Exactly.
But okay, so we have those stats. Ugh. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to clear up from yesterday, and this is kind of interesting. Yesterday I talked very briefly about the small businesses and what small businesses can do. Well, apparently you have to reapply, and you have to. There was a website I gave yesterday, which was covid19relief.sba.gov, and now there is a new website to go to. I don't know what the story was, but you need to go check, make sure that your application is going through, make sure you don't need to reapply, and that is covid19relief.sba.gov/#/, and that I will have at the end, and hopefully that will you'll be able to apply for the economic injury disaster loan. That's a Newsday story, by the way. Okay, so what else do we have?
Well, one of the things that was reported in the press this week, there was an interview with Loretta Davis of The Retreat. They, too, are still open and helping people. And that's a very important service that they provide to the community. They are responding to the needs of the clients in new and different ways with phone sessions for counseling, legal advocacy, case management. But, so before the onset of the coronavirus epidemic, there were 24 people per minute who were victims of abuse by an intimate partner, according to the CDC. And, the concern is that now we're all a little bit more isolated and
or on top of each other because
exactly,
we're stuck in a house together.
In close quarters.
Right.
And so there's concern for the folks who are impacted by this
Right.
issue. And so if that is you, just know there is support. I believe the number is 631-329-2200. And is that, and the presentation at the end of Facts at 5?
Yep.
Okay, great.
There will be, that's at the end, including the retreatinc.org. Okay, some good news. What do we have here?
So there are
Acts of kindness.
acts of kindness everywhere you look. Share the Harvest Farm, that's on Long Lane in East Hampton. If you haven't been able to get to the grocery store, they will offer you a 12 to 15 pound bag of fresh produce. It's $60 a week in Amagansett, East Hampton, and Wayne-Scott.
Wow,
So
great.
it's not for hundreds and hundreds. They can only serve about 20 families a week. But that is something to take advantage of, and it is for home delivery.
Okay, great.
And so I know there have been a number of food pantry supports lately.
Right, and that's one of the things that was canceled was the Sound Aircraft Services has been one of the main sponsors of East Hampton Food Pantry's annual Ladles of Love, which is a great concert that they have at Stephen Talkhouse every year, and it was canceled. They raise about $40,000 every year that they don't have now because they canceled the concert. So what they've started is a GoFundMe page for this, and that GoFundMe page will be at the end. There's a nice video. We're going to have that probably around tomorrow. We'll be able to show this, but to look on the GoFundMe and see if you can give to Ladles of Love would be fantastic. The other request I got yesterday was that East Hampton Meals on Wheels is running low on face masks and hand sanitizer. So they're the ones who go around and they help our homebound seniors and our volunteers, and it needs to keep them safe while they deliver.
I've been a Meals on Wheels volunteer, and they really do an amazing service for the community, but they really have had to watch their procedures because previously you could go into somebody's house and place their meal on their table for them or on their kitchen counter.
Okay.
But not so much now. That's not safe anymore.
Wow.
So those masks and the sanitizer is really important.
And it's so important because it's actually a connection that homebound people are having with the world every day too.
It is. That was a big aspect of the Meals on Wheels organization, still is. And, it's just another thing we have to adapt to right now.
Well, if you want to donate, you can donate at 33 Newtown Lane, or you can call them up and they will pick up the masks and hand sanitizers call them at 329-1669. Okay, I only got a couple pictures of everyone's home attire. So I will play those. I will have those at the end. Did anybody contact you with pictures of what they're wearing?
I think I got a picture of a cat.
Okay.
Which is great. A cat sitting on an office chair. And
Coworker?
Coworker, exactly. Furry little guy. I'll share that photo as well.
Okay, awesome. We were going to have an interview with Angela LaGreca and Valerie DiLorenzo, but due to the overloaded internet system, we will not have that right now, but we will have that on YouTube, and I think it's on there right now. So that was going to be the interview that was going to be broadcast today. It will be on YouTube. And tomorrow, I'm hoping to have an interview with Bernadette Ruggiero, who is a forensic accountant and who has some really, really good advice about what to do with your money right now, how to save it as much as you can, how to get the credit card companies to, take off some APR, et cetera. Anything else for everybody?
I think that that might take care of it, Morgan.
All right. Well, excellent. And, we're hoping and praying that one day we will see each other and, we can talk closer together than 6 feet.
I need a hug.
I need a hug too. I think everybody does. All right. Thank you so much, Christine Sampson from the East Hampton Star. I'm Morgan Vaughn from LTV. Have a lovely, safe night and stay home.